You realize you just swam an entire mile?
Really? Oh, that's great.
It was just what you needed.
What does that mean?
The edge off that mood you were in earlier.
Oh, sorry about that.
It's all right. Don't worry about it. Actually, I feel the same way. It's high time for Ridge to make his move.
Or cut the girl loose.
Well, that's not going to happen.
Tonight will tell the tale.
Well, that reminds me. I told Maria to please throw something together for later. Little cheese, pate, some California champagne, some glasses. I'm gonna go get them.
So you're planning a celebration?
Yeah, I'm gonna be the first one to welcome them home. I'll be right back.
Would you be doing this if Brooke weren't pregnant?
The point is, she is pregnant.
No, Ridge. Would you marry her if she weren't pregnant?
Caroline, we have to deal with what is, not what could have been.
What could have been?
You have Thorne. I have Brooke. That's the way it is.
That's the way it has to be. Isn't that what you mean? Ridge, we still have time.
Time?
You know what I mean. If you do this, there is no turning back. Don't you realize that?
Yes, Caroline. I do realize that.
Ridge, honey, I'm home. Am I interrupting something? Ridge, what's going on? He won't do it. He won't set a wedding date. Because he doesn't love her.
Some vino for me, soda for you. I believe a toast is in order.
What are we toasting?
What else? To a woman as beautiful as the night. You look wonderful, Logan.
Thank you.
You also look a little lost.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What is it?
All day long, I've been in the most wonderful mood. All I could think about was this evening and this beautiful romantic setting. You, me, and what we had planned to pick out a wedding date. But Ridge, when I walked into that room and I saw Caroline standing there, hardly wearing anything, holding your hand, crying.
Brooke, don't do this to yourself.
I know, that's what I keep telling myself. Don't ruin this evening, which was intended to be the most intimate ever. Don't do it, Brooke. And yet here I am. But what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to pretend that I didn't see what I saw? Deny the obvious? That there could possibly be something going on between you and Caroline? Is that what you're asking me to do, Ridge? Forget what I saw? Is that what you're asking?
I must say, this is a surprise.
Yeah, kind of like a bolt from the blue, as they say.
You're not here to see my husband?
No. I'm here to see you.
What about Mrs. Spectra?
Look at me, Mrs. Garrison. How many heads do I have? How many arms? One head, two arms, two legs, okay? I know you've heard I'm some kind of monster, but as you can plainly see, I'm not. So what I have to say to you will be human and pleasant. And I'll try to keep it brief.
The Bold and the Beautiful. This portion sponsored by Ivory Shampoo and Conditioner. Leaves your hair feeling ivory clean.
Here we go, a bottle of California's finest. We're all set.
Thorne, we are never going to drink that.
And why not?
Because if Ridge and Brooke do come home early, then the evening will not have gone well. And if they stay out till 3 a.m., as you suggested, well, 3 a.m., I rest my case.
Well, then we're just gonna have to get up at 3 a.m.
No,
and we're
no,
gonna
no,
have to party.
You can get up at 3 a.m. I am not getting up until my alarm goes off in the morning.
Darling, this is the moment we've been waiting for.
Thorne, I hope this doesn't come as a surprise to you, but I have not constructed my entire life around Ridge and Brooke setting a wedding date. I'm not about to now. And frankly, I still think that it's a little premature to be chilling champagne.
We'll see. We shall see.
All right, I'm going upstairs.
I'm gonna stay down here and relax with my book a little while.
Okay. I'll see you later. Oh, sweetheart, don't let the champagne get warm.
I'm very curious. What do you have to say to me?
I'm here to make you a pitch.
A pitch?
Mm-hmm. You, of course, are aware that I've offered your husband a job
Yes,
and that he's turned me down.
I'm aware of that, too.
He wouldn't have turned me down, Mrs. Garrison, if it were not for his dedication to you.
Which I'm sure galls you to no end.
No. Actually, I was touched by it.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Mrs. Garrison, you are aware of our latest contribution to the fashion world, aren't you?
What about it?
It's part of my plans for turning Spectra in a new direction, changing its image. Now, I know because of past disagreements that you and your family probably hold me and my company in contempt. But, Mrs. Garrison, the bottom line is I have been able to turn out a modest but original line of clothing that is perhaps the biggest single fashion story for 1989. Spectra has arrived, Mrs. Garrison.
That may be overstating it a bit.
Now, what I'm offering your husband is an opportunity and a chance to come in on the ground floor of this new and vital aspect of a company that the fashion industry is already calling one of the brightest new stars in its galaxy. I want Clarke to be our keystone, Mrs. Garrison.
He's already told you he is not interested.
He's interested. He's very interested. But he knows you are against it. Because he loves you so much, he is willing to sacrifice his desires and his future to give his wife what he thinks
Mrs.
she
Spectra,
wants.
I have had enough of this.
This is an awesome responsibility for you, Mrs. Garrison. One word from you, and your husband could grab hold of an opportunity that would guarantee him a brilliant career and a future with no limits. Or he can choose to stay at Forrester, continue making a nice living, continue to please you. And that choice, knowing Clarke as well as you do, would stagnate him. Now, what I'm asking you, Mrs. Garrison, is which choice would you pick for your husband? Which choice would you truly pick for your husband?
Hello, Stephanie.
Mind if I come in?
No. Please do. Where's Eric tonight?
Oh, he stayed for a nightcap with some buyers from the Orient.
Well, I'm kind of surprised you didn't stay with him.
Well, I wanted to be here for Ridge and Brooke.
Rather than be out with your own husband?
This is a very special evening. It isn't every evening that your firstborn son announces his wedding date.
Well, you know what? Ridge could very easily have announced it in the morning at breakfast.
This event has a special significance for some of us. I really didn't want to wait to hear it in the morning.
Well, then by all means, stay up. Thorne has even already started chilling the champagne.
Does that mean that you won't be joining us?
Well, if it's a reasonable hour, I will. You know what? What the heck? Even if it isn't a reasonable hour, go ahead and wake me up. I told Thorne not to, but I would love to have a drink with the family.
I'm very impressed.
With what?
This change of attitude.
Was I rude to you earlier?
No, just tense. You're having difficulty dealing with something, obviously.
Well, just the pressures of the day, I guess. Anyway, I'm fine now.
I see.
Anything else?
I think it's wonderful that you're so accepting
Accepting of what?
of what's happening right now, tonight.
What's happening right now?
Ridge and Brooke are setting their wedding date.
I suppose so.
You're skeptical.
You're baiting me, Stephanie.
No, I'm just curious.
All right. Yes, I am. I'm skeptical.
You know something more than I do?
No more than you already know, Stephanie. Anyway, I wouldn't pop my champagne cork just yet. My instinct tells me that there won't be a wedding date. Excuse me, I'm gonna take a bath.
What you saw. What you saw in that room were two people who were once intimately involved and on the verge of marriage.
I know that.
Then you also know what Caroline must be going through tonight.
Oh, my God, Rich, she's married to your brother. Our setting a wedding date should not have this kind of effect on her.
What can I say?
Then she is still involved.
Logan, this was bound to happen. Our setting a wedding date has stirred up all kinds of emotions for Caroline. That's no surprise to anyone.
What about your emotions? Did they get stirred up too?
Why are you doing this?
Because I'm afraid. I'm afraid, Ridge, of this very attractive woman who might become more attractive when we get married. And where will I be? I'll be pregnant, looking like a blimp, constantly looking over my shoulder, afraid that I might be losing you any minute. I can't live that way. I won't live that way. Ridge, I love you. I love you so much. But I am not going to marry a man who makes himself available to another woman. I am not that desperate. And I'm not that foolish.
Damn it, if I marry you, it'll be forever. I won't go into this with one eye on another woman. Now, you're gonna have to trust me, or none of this is gonna work.
That is precisely my point.
Then you don't trust me.
I don't trust Caroline. I never will trust Caroline. I'm not going to live in her shadow, Ridge. If you want me, you have to want only me. And to be quite honest, I'm not so sure you do. But you are going to have to convince me of that before we set a wedding date.
What I want for my husband, Mrs. Spectra, is what any wife would want. The very best.
And you're sure he can get that at Forrester?
Yes, I am. He has security, good salary, creative expression, and a very supportive environment, none of which you can guarantee.
Yes, I can. I certainly can. And I can offer him a contract, backed by Spectra's considerable assets, and I can offer him something he could never get at Forrester. I can offer him a challenge and a promise. A promise to make Clarke Garrison a household name.
Look, my husband has made his decision. Are you asking me to change his mind?
That wasn't Clarke's decision, Mrs. Garrison. That was yours.
No, I don't make my husband's decisions for him.
No? One word of support from you, and you know Clarke would have accepted Spectra's offer.
I told him I would support him in whatever he chose.
What are we quibbling about here, Mrs. Garrison? My point still stands. I am offering Clarke a chance to grow, to prosper, and to be somebody on his own, without the benevolent, kindly, but ever watchful eye of your father. Now, you know, you must know what a success of that kind could mean to a person.
It's a decent offer. I won't deny that. But what if, just what if he fails?
He won't fail.
I'll tell you what. You'll get rid of him faster than that.
Well, if he fails, he's still got an ironclad contract to protect him.
Why do you have so much faith in him? When you haven't seen one design he's done on his own.
I believe in him. Don't you, Mrs. Garrison? Look, can I call you by your first name? Kristen. I know I'm asking a lot. And I know that this offer comes from a company whose name is anathema to your father. And I know that this isn't an easy decision to make.
No, it's not.
I'm looking for your respect here, Kristen, and the respect of your family.
You haven't done much to earn that.
Well, let's call this a first step, then. Let's call it a gesture. Friendship. You're absolutely right. I have nothing to base my feeling that Clarke Garrison could be a brilliant designer on. We weren't into originals when he worked for me, and I've only seen what he's done at Forrester. But, oh, I've got a hunch. I've got a very strong hunch that he could be very, very good. And I'm willing to commit my entire company and a great deal of money to back that hunch.
Why? That's what I don't understand. Why don't you just hire whoever it was that did your original designs? Those are the 6 that are creating such a stir.
Mrs. Garrison, I have to oversee every aspect of design and production at Spectra. I haven't got the time or the energy to turn out an entire line of clothing twice a year. That's why I need your husband. I don't expect an answer from you tonight. Just think about it. And be fair. Not only to me, but mostly to your husband. You don't want to do anything that would stop him from accepting an opportunity that could be the crowning achievement of his career and his life. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you soon.
Well, it certainly looks like a bona fide celebration to me that you're preparing.
Why not?
Of course, why not?
I want to let those two know that I support them 100%.
I'm sure you do.
Well, and not just for the obvious reasons, Mother. I mean, sure, with Ridge married, I don't have to worry about him and Caroline, right? There's another very good reason. It's a baby.
And what difference do you think the baby makes?
Well, Mother, you know Ridge. Marriage is going to be a big adjustment for him. I mean, can you imagine him with a baby? Ridge as a father? Good Lord, he's got to be staggering under that one.
He isn't showing it.
No, he wouldn't. But he's feeling it. I just want to let him know that I'm behind him.
Ridge is very lucky.
Well, we all are. Sounds like the moment we've all been waiting for.
The couple of the evening, home at last.
Shall I pop open the bubbly?
No. I think we should wait for them.
Jewelry provided by Stephen Dweck. Join us again for the bold and the beautiful.